Every Atlanta rapper is like, what? Yo, Baby had to change the name of 4PF not to catch a recall. Like, he just said, I don't know what 4PF is. For what? I don't know that.
The situation surrounding Lil Baby, NBA YoungBoy, and the fallout from the Dirk-related street politics has turned into one of the most chaotic moments in modern hip-hop, exposing how fragile loyalty becomes once fame, power, and danger collide. It all started with Lil Baby attempting to distance himself from rap conflicts, saying straight up, I ain't into like two rappers beefing. If somebody died, I'm going to pick a side.
And I ain't into like two rappers beefing. Like, don't mix me with it.
Why?
If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. For real. If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. Other than that, don't mix me with that. I seen the outcomes of that. Like, I ain't with that. Hell no.
That statement came long before anyone realized how heavy those consequences would become. When the streets erupted after the passing of King Von, Baby chose Dirk's side publicly. That choice didn't seem dramatic at first. People assumed it was natural since Baby and Dirk had multiple songs together, joint tours, and strong industry ties. But what made that moment complicated was the fact that Baby also had a genuine history with YoungBoy, a history built before the politics, before the alliances, before the entire situation split the rap world into two camps. Years before the tensions escalated, Lil Baby and NBA YoungBoy were actually locked in musically and personally. Their chemistry was undeniable, with tracks like One Shot and Cross Me showing how naturally they meshed in the studio. They understood each other's energy. Both were young, hungry, rising fast, and fighting their way out of dangerous environments. Their early friendship had nothing to do with politics or alliances. It was just two artists recognizing real in each other. But once King Von lost his life in Atlanta, the industry split clean down the middle. Quando Rondo's involvement instantly dragged YoungBoy's camp into the situation, even though YoungBoy himself wasn't on the scene that night. Suddenly, everyone had to choose sides. The streets demanded it and the politics forced it. Lil Baby chose Dirk.
Yeah, like, and I ain't into like two rappers beefing. Like, I ain't into that. Like, I ain't like, don't mix me with it.
Why?
If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. For real. If somebody died, I'm gonna pick a side. Other than that, don't mix me with that shit.
That makes sense.
For real.
I get it.
From that moment on, the energy shifted. YoungBoy felt abandoned, his camp felt isolated, and as time passed, the divide grew deeper. YoungBoy began speaking openly about feeling like the industry turned against him, like people he once rocked with had switched up the second things got serious. It wasn't paranoia. Artists really did start backing away. Features slowed down, playlists stopped supporting him, and big-name collaborators went silent. Meanwhile, Lil Durk's influence was at its peak. His cosign was powerful. His alliances ran deep. And in that climate, Baby's decision to stand beside him seemed like the safe move. But fast forward, the situation flipped as federal cases surrounding Dirk's alleged actions began surfacing and the possibility of him being gone for years started to look real. The same people who once loudly chose his side started moving differently. Suddenly, social media interactions shifted. Artists who once dissed YoungBoy quietly started liking his posts again. And at the center of all of this behavior stood Lil Baby, liking YoungBoy's pictures, sending silent signals, and acting as if the fallout never happened. That shift set off alarms everywhere because now it looked like Baby wasn't operating from loyalty at all, but from fear, strategy, and survival. Lil Baby's early connection to NBA YoungBoy ran far deeper than most industry friendships. Before the politics, before the rivalries, they were both navigating similar environments, earning respect off raw talent and rising into superstardom at the same pace. YoungBoy was dropping tapes non-stop from Baton Rouge, living a life full of legal trouble and emotional pressure, while Baby was climbing quickly through Atlanta's scene with street credibility and hunger. Their bond formed naturally because both understood what the other was fighting against. When they collaborated, there was no forced chemistry, just two artists with overlapping stories linking up and creating something authentic. But the turning point arrived with the tragic loss of King Von, which pushed the entire industry into unavoidable positions. Quando Rondo's presence at the scene, along with his direct connection to YoungBoy, instantly linked both camps in the public eye. People started drawing lines in the sand and all neutrality evaporated. Dirk was grieving the loss of someone he called family. and the entire OTF movement rallied behind him. YoungBoy and his camp were suddenly pinned as enemies, even though YoungBoy wasn't present at the scene and wasn't involved in the confrontation. But perception shapes reality in the rap world, especially when it comes to violence, loyalty, and street code. In Baby's interview where he stated, "If somebody die, I'm going to pick a side," he was referring to Von. His reasoning was fueled by the pressure of the moment, the expectations from the streets, and the industry politics that demanded public alignment. But that decision carried ripple effects that nobody could ignore. To YoungBoy's camp, it felt like betrayal. YoungBoy didn't start the conflict, didn't pull the trigger, didn't orchestrate the situation, yet he became the target of an industry-wide cold shoulder. And Baby's shift toward Dirk was one of the clearest examples of that shift. Meanwhile, YoungBoy's mental state took a massive hit. The sense of abandonment started creeping into his music. You could hear frustration, isolation, anger, and emotional exhaustion. He felt like the industry painted him as the villain in a situation he didn't create. He began dropping tracks calling out fake loyalty, switching sides, and the pressure of being isolated. That pain eventually turned into one of the most aggressive diss tracks of the decade, "I Hate YoungBoy." On that track, he didn't hold back. He called out the entire industry, Dirk, Baby, and anyone who had switched sides out of convenience. It wasn't about clout, it was about betrayal. While all this drama unfolded, Dirk's career was skyrocketing. His music charted high, his influence expanded, and his alliances became some of the strongest in the game. But behind the scenes, federal investigators were building a massive case against him, one that now looks capable of burying his entire movement. And that's when the tide started shifting again. People who once backed Dirk began creating distance. People who once abandoned YoungBoy started inching closer. And once again, Lil Baby's behavior became the biggest red flag in all of it. Dirk's federal case changed everything. The allegations were beyond typical rap beef or local charges. Prosecutors claimed Dirk was involved in a coordinated criminal organization using music connections, resources, and influence to carry out violent operations. According to reports, the government had wiretaps, financial trails, witness statements, and co-conspirators ready to talk. This wasn't state court. This wasn't a situation where a good lawyer and some money can make the problem disappear. Federal prosecutors have an extremely high conviction rate because they only pursue cases they feel confident they can win. And everything about Dirk's situation looked like the feds were preparing to lock him up for decades, possibly life. As this reality set in, rappers who once stood next to Dirk began quietly stepping back. The same people who dissed YoungBoy, who posted subliminals, who bragged about choosing sides suddenly weren't as vocal. The internet noticed, fans noticed, and most importantly, YoungBoy noticed. Among all the switch-ups, the most obvious one came from Lil Baby. The same Baby who once openly picked Dirk's side and distanced himself from YoungBoy was now liking YoungBoy's Instagram posts, sending signals that he might want to cool down the tension. That small online action said more than any interview could. It suggested Baby was ready to reconnect, as if the past 3 years of indirect disrespect never happened. To many observers, it looked like Lil Baby wasn't driven by loyalty at all. He was driven by fear of being aligned with someone facing federal time. Loyalty to Dirk seemed to exist only when Dirk was free, powerful, and active in the industry. But now that Dirk's situation looks uncertain, Baby's energy shifted instantly. That shift became a perfect example of the kind of business-first mentality that dominates the industry. When someone becomes a liability, the support evaporates. When someone becomes powerful again, the support magically returns. But what's wild is how transparent the behavior appears. Baby's sudden positive interaction with YoungBoy clearly looked like a peace offering. It wasn't subtle, it was calculated, it was strategic. And it was public enough for everyone to understand the message. Baby wants back in YoungBoy's good graces because YoungBoy is still active, influential, and successful, while Dirk is now in survival mode fighting federal charges. Other artists followed similar patterns. People who once sided with Dirk's movement also started liking YoungBoy's posts, commenting, reposting his music, and acting like the conflict never existed. It created a wave of quiet apologies disguised as social media engagement. None of these artists said it outright, but their behavior told the story clearly. They were switching sides because the energy shifted. YoungBoy is still standing strong. Dirk's case is getting darker, and the industry is responding in real time by adjusting their friendships to match whoever looks most beneficial at the moment. The entire movement exposed the truth. Loyalty in hip-hop has become a negotiation, not a principle. This situation doesn't just highlight the behavior of individual artists, it exposes the entire psychological structure of modern hip-hop. The culture is built on street values like loyalty, honor, and staying solid during hard times, but the music industry runs on the total opposite principles: opportunism, image control, and business strategy. When the two worlds collide, what emerges is confusion, betrayal, and broken trust. Lil Baby's behavior is one example, but the underlying issue runs much deeper than him alone. Artists in today's climate are conditioned to choose their alliances based on politics, not principles. The pressure to maintain chart success, radio support, and media connections makes artists operate more like corporate brands than people with genuine relationships. That's why alliances flip as soon as someone's situation changes. When Dirk was winning, everyone wanted to stand beside him. When YoungBoy was being painted as the villain, many kept their distance to stay politically safe. And now that Dirk's case looks heavy and YoungBoy's movement is thriving again, the alliances are shifting in reverse. No apology, no explanation, just quiet moves that expose deeper intentions. For YoungBoy, watching these patterns unfold must feel familiar and bitter at the same time. He's always been treated like an outsider in the industry. He never played the political games, never chose sides based on convenience, and never compromised his authenticity for clout. He built his empire off raw emotion, nonstop creativity, and loyalty to the people who never turned on him. When the industry abandoned him, his fans didn't. His momentum didn't stop. And that's why so many artists are suddenly creeping back toward him now. They realize he doesn't need the industry to stay relevant. But here's the reality. YoungBoy is watching every move, every like, every post, every subtle signal. He knows who switched up when the pressure hit. He knows who disappeared, and he knows exactly who's trying to make peace now because they're scared of being on the wrong side of history. The psychology of betrayal creates long-lasting consequences. Even if public peace is made for the sake of business, the emotional trust never returns. Once someone shows that their loyalty is conditional, they can never be viewed the same again. The tragedy is what this says about the culture. Young artists coming up are watching all of this unfold. They're learning that loyalty doesn't matter. They're learning that alliances shift with popularity. They're learning that switching sides is normal as long as the music keeps selling. That mindset erodes the authenticity that hip-hop was built upon. It creates a world where friendships are temporary, principles are optional, and honor only exists in lyrics, not in real life. And that's how the foundation of the culture gets weakened, one switch up at a time. The final takeaway from this entire situation is the heavy cost of fake loyalty. Lil Baby's sudden shift toward NBA YoungBoy isn't just a moment in rap drama. It's a reflection of how easily relationships crumble when success, danger, and public perception collide. Baby once had a real bond with YoungBoy, but when choosing a side became a political necessity, he abandoned that connection to stand with Dirk during the height of tension. Now, with Dirk's situation darkening and YoungBoy's influence rising again, Baby's attempt to reconnect highlights everything wrong with the current generation of artists who treat loyalty like a seasonal accessory. What's wild is that even if Baby and YoungBoy make peace publicly, the damage is already done. Once someone shows that their support depends on convenience, that loyalty becomes worthless. YoungBoy comes from a background where betrayal hits deeper than any diss track. And when someone switches sides in a life or death situation, trust becomes impossible to rebuild. Even if Baby thinks he's being strategic, the public sees the move for what it is: survival mode, reputation management, and career protection. The industry knows it too, and the streets definitely know. Meanwhile, Dirk's federal battle continues shaping how artists move. His situation made people expose themselves without even realizing it. Those who stayed silent when he was winning are gone now. Those who stood loud beside him are subtly fading away. Those who dissed YoungBoy are suddenly getting quiet. Every move tells a story, and every shift reveals who stands on business and who stands on convenience. Real loyalty costs something. Fake loyalty costs nothing. That's why the industry is full of the latter. The cultural impact of this moment is bigger than the individuals involved. Hip-hop used to stand for authenticity, for keeping it solid even when situations got messy. But now the industry rewards strategic alliances, not genuine relationships. Artists act as if the public can't see through the games, but fans understand more than ever. They notice the switch ups. They see who keeps the same energy. They see who folds. They see who stands tall. And they remember, YoungBoy, intentionally or not, has now become a symbol of standing alone against the industry machine. Baby, intentionally or not, has become an example of what happens when someone lets politics dictate their loyalty. And Dirk, caught in the legal nightmare he's facing, unintentionally exposes who was really down for him and who was only there for the benefits of proximity. This entire situation teaches one lesson for anyone paying attention. Success fades, alliances shift, cases get filed, and careers evolve. But loyalty is the one thing that reveals someone's true character. Once it's broken, the cracks stay there forever. The industry may forgive Baby. The fans may move on eventually. But YoungBoy will never forget who stood with him, who switched up, and who tried to come back when it was convenient. Real recognized real. And everyone else gets exposed in the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe.